Yo, what's poppin' the matter here? It is second day of Drake Defense Con and we had been super busy last night and tonight as well, and tonight is already late, so we are a little bit tired. We are on the way to our salvage spot. Usually we did salvage challenge every now and then when free fly event is, and that would mean that we salvage every ship that is available to rent for free. And then we salvage the ship, means scrapping the hull and then fracture it and disintegrate it. And at the end we want to count how much RMCs Ironclad Assault rented. We still have 20 hours left. We take this one. We wanted to take out the caterpillar actually, but we do this one. It's also okay. So we counted the RMCs and the construction materials per ship, and the challenge is make enough boxes, or make as many boxes as possible per ship. And this time around we wanted to utilize the Argo math for the salvage challenge, and we had issues last night. We had been in a group of 4. Unfortunately we crashed before we even started, so we had only one scrapping head available, and so we scrapped, and then we added the vulture as well to scrap more, and then we thought maybe we just disintegrate all the stuff, because RMCs doesn't give us money anymore, not that much, at least not enough for the effort we have. And construction material, the best price we found so far is 14k or 13k per ICU, and the RMC would be something like 8k per ICU. It's not that bad, but it's for the time effort we have to invest, even in a group of 4, it's way too less. And so we went for the construction material for this time around, and that is totally fine because that gives us the money basically. And this is also an aspect compared to the other ones, salvage challenge we did prior. This time around it's also about the money, because CIG decided to make a full wipe with the release of 4.8, which was released one day before DrakeCon started, and as you can see we only have 450,000 on our bank account, and that within 3 days. That is not enough money, that is not good money, but yeah, better than nothing. At least we can afford now some ship insurances. And so that is what we are doing here. Yeah, we're making money primarily, and of course doing that with creating lots of RMCs and construction material. Maybe you heard about this quantum bug in the Ironclad. It's not the Ironclad that has the bug, it is the command module. The command module is the problem. And our suspicion is it is made by design, because every time when we go through the wormhole with the Ironclad we crash out because of the quantum drive in it. And our suspicion is it is by design, because CIG wants to test something, and that will be some sort of radiation impact while in the jump hole, and they want to see how the ship's behavior is once quantum drive or the jump module is interrupted. Yeah, and this is what you just saw. Yeah, quantum just disables without anything. There is nothing that gives them input on triggering the disabling. It just does. It's super annoying, and we wouldn't recommend CIG doing that on that particular ship, the Ironclad, long anticipated for lots of backers, us included, and now we have a bugged ship, just because CIG wants to test something. You could do that on a different ship if you want to find out how a ship struggles inside a wormhole when it's got some sorts of interruption. And as you can see, we got here lots of ships already. We wanted to take the Caterpillar as the last ship because from all the Drake ships available for the Moth, the Caterpillar is the best one to create lots of RMCs, and especially good RMCs. Alright then, what do we have? We got the Caterpillar, we got the Hull C, our ship, we got the 600 die over there, our ship, and it should be the second Caterpillar. We could use the other ironclad because we have two ironclads, yeah, the Assault and the standard version, free for rent for everybody basically. It will be the last hours. You can go to Area 18 and get the ship for free and have your own tests with it. We can recommend that, absolutely. Go for it. It's an awesome ship. Besides the bugs, it's an awesome ship. We like it, we love it. So this ship, the Ironclad, is too big for the Moth. The star lifters are also too big for the Moth. That means we need to self-destruct in order to create smaller pieces so that we can fracture or disintegrate the Ironclad Assault. Alright, once we're out, we have 600 die, the Hull C, the Ironclad Assault, and the Drake Caterpillar. And our friend is something like already in position. We have low water level, that means we will go and have a sip first. Over there you see our Ironclad. Damn, we are tired. Our Ironclad, in which we store all our boxes. Yeah, that was the Assault. The Assault gives us two pieces to disintegrate. Yeah, yesterday we had been a group of 4, and beside the crash we had, beside that we didn't know how the Moth actually works, today we think we figured it out. Yeah, in a small group of 2, nothing stressfully, everything easy peasy, and we took our time. Yeah, damn, where are we? Opposite? We have no stress, we have no hurry, because we have no money, right? We have nothing to lose, basically. So this is Malia. Every now and then she comes back, and because of Drake Day she came back, but too late for renting a ship. Let's see. Yeah. Safe. So we can take off our helmet as well. Yeah, after this run we will be finishing for today, but tomorrow is Saturday, another day in the verse, of course, and then is Crusader and Origin, I guess, is on the list. And maybe we get the 890 jump. We have no idea. We will see. But we already know the 890 jump will be also too big for the Moth. That is totally okay. We don't really worry. Cool. Alright, so team of two. She did the work basically. We just did the preparation, and disintegration is basically a one-man job. But as soon as you fractured a ship, the ship will fall apart, and you have plenty of parts which you need to track. And if you ping, you cannot see them. So the best thing is if somebody is somewhere and spots all the pieces in order to point out where it is. Because as you can see here in the cockpit, we are standing now, but in the cockpit you don't have that good view. Okay, over there is our ironclad. Over there is the space station where we came from. We see there something to scrap. And when we go to the terminal, over here, the printer terminal, we see one box. We could make one box, but it's not available. And here as well. This is the auto eject. We deactivate auto eject. On this side, we deactivate auto eject. And then we start. Question is, with which one do we start? And we would say we do the caterpillar, because that is actually the thing that we wanted to do. So we go into fracture mode. Yeah, every now and then we spot some little pieces. Maybe that gives us the 8th SU, because we need the free space. That is the thing. We absolutely max out everything here. For some reason we cannot print. Do we have boxes attached to the grid? Should not, because usually we clean up before we start. Move the boxes to the ironclad respectively. And cannot see any boxes here. No. Ui! Looks good. Over there to the left looks like something. Yeah, this is some sort of a work ethics. Yeah, we work clean. Let's see what the box is doing. Yeah, we think we figured it out, but sometimes it's still messy. Yeah. It increased a bit, but still not able to print. So this gives an explosion. We have shields on max, but as you can see, we still got damage. And the first crack is basically the command module. Now this is the part where the ship will split apart, and we give a spot to track all the pieces. It looks like as if the command module disappeared or is up there. No. Sometimes. We are way too close. Alright. Firework. Switch to disintegrate and start scrapping the smaller pieces. And that is the crucial part, yeah. As soon as you focus on the smaller pieces, track 1 or 2, you lose the sights on where are the other ones. The very big ones you can spot easily, it's no problem. But we work clean, we scrap everything we can. Scrap and disintegrate. And here you can see there is something. And so as soon as she finished that one part over there, we will let her know how to rotate the ship. Okay, so when she rotates to the right, nose down, this is it. And then we have something over here. This is the ironclad. This is small chunk, but here is the caterpillar, so she will need to turn around a come to us. Okay, we could say the smaller pieces of the caterpillar is sucked in, and that would mean carry on the bigger ones. And the challenge here is basically when you have a buffer size of 64 and a grid of 64, that is 128. So when the buffer is something more than 50%, which is 32, and you suck in something that is 35, you will basically overflow the buffer. That is not that big of a deal, but that is just waste of money. So the main challenge here is, and this is something what she does on her own, because we are just floating here and chill basically. She needs to go to print boxes, start printing boxes, and once started, then click on auto eject, hop back into the pilot seat and continue disintegrate new pieces, and that should empty the buffer while underprinting and simultaneously filling up the buffer more with the new stuff. And so we have basically on the fly emptying the buffer while filling up the buffer at the same time. And this is the part here. This is the front part. Yeah, the front part of the iron caterpillar gives 35 SCUs of construction material. Raw. And the other part here, this gives us more. That will give us 64, if we remember correctly. That means that we will need to empty the buffer and the grid before we continue the second part of the caterpillar. And we prepare ourselves. See these little chunk pieces, they cruise around this base as soon as the ship is destroyed. What the fuck is going on? Our heart jumped. If we lose that ship, all work is gone. And as you can see, we got a lot of boxes already. We had been busy within these 2 days. Here we have some capacity. Here we got some ship guns from the ironclad assault, and over there are construction materials, and this one is RMCs. Alright, so the filler is not completely filled up. While she is cruising back to us, she may see other stuff, smaller ones, suck that in as well, and most importantly have a check on the remaining part of the caterpillar to calculate how much construction material it actually will give us. 64. 64 is the number, and the buffer of the math is 64. So that means we need again print and buffering at the same time, so that we do not have a waste of material. We see 2 boxes, is a little bit less, but we can disable auto inject, eject, and then activate auto inject. This is something that worked pretty reliable. And then we basically tick the boxes. Yeah, performance is not that bad, but also not good. But we have no stress. There is no tension in what we do. It's just casual salvaging. Stuff what we loved to do back in the day when money had value. And with this full vibe, it's supposed to be that money has value again. But when we listen to the voices in the verse, duping haven't been fixed, exploit haven't been fixed, it's just a money grab method, because trade defense cons, they will release a lot of new ships during this week. And that gives a lot of money, because all the ships you have pledged for, they will survive the vibe, yeah? That is illegal stuff. If they would remove all your pledged ships, that will have legal consequences. That is considered to be theft. And that is something that they don't risk, because they know how the law works. They are Brits after all. So, are more coming? She says no, but we may have an overflow here. So, can we? Should we? Do we? No, we stay here. Wait until she comes back. Question is, do we have a glance? It's basically something what we like to do. Watch when other people are working. Yeah, that will be an overflow. Where is she? Where is she? There. Once you start in the pilot seat, you cannot get off. This would be a thing where we would say in a team of 3, that would be maximum. For example, we will stay here and have a glance on all the cracked parts of the ship, and someone is in the disintegration turret, and someone is printing the boxes, managing the boxes, make sure that there are not too many on the grid and the buffer doesn't overflow. Of course, we could EVA over and do the job of the printer, but we are tired meanwhile, because we spend almost all day doing something, grind for the money, to be able to cover our insurance costs. Yeah. Gone. What also is gone is the command module, just vanished. Can happen. So this is all construction material, RMC. Yeah, performance is just all of a sudden what's happening. Did we count wrong? No, we didn't, but there is some stuff in the buffer, and that's why it doesn't really work. Okay, good for now. We continue with the ironclad assault, and this time we will be inside the ship. Ta-dum. So basically we have 8 SCUs wasted 8 SCUs capacity wasted we cannot utilize, and this is a little problem. So what we have here, this is the front part. Yeah. The ironclad also splits into two sections, the front part and the rear part. And when we have a readout, then is the potential SCUs we can disintegrate is 190. That would mean if we would manage to print 64 SCUs plus have 64 in the buffer, clean and slick, then we would have a buffer overflow of 60. And that's why we say the ironclad is too big for the moth. This is how it looks. Wasted 8 SCU, we cannot print. And as soon as we suck in these 192, we actually only will be able to gather 64. So 1/3 of it will be lost. This would be a, for the reclaimer, yeah. Reclaimer is the perfect size. What's going on? Almost done. Deactivate, auto inject, eject, auto inject. Here again, deactivate, eject, auto inject. Now the printing is going on. Yeah, sometimes it's really difficult to distinguish between rocks. Somewhere should be the second half of the ironclad. Yeah, we have the roof open to make sure that we do not accidentally crack the wrong ship. Yeah, this looks like a half. 300. The buffer is basically back again, empty to this one. Yeah, we do not know what this is, what kind of material that is. Can only be RMC, but if we have more than 8 SUs of RMC, that should actually... Yeah, so this part here gives us 311 SUs of pebbles, and it's quite obvious that the moth cannot handle that. Once it's sucked in, it will overflow, and we can utilize 64 SUs minus that 1/8 here. 311. And we can continue boxing until the grid is full. Yeah, in this little crew sort of enterprise is the ironclad perfect. A perfect mothership, a central point of operation, loading, unloading. Most crew members are autonomous, that means they have their own life, so to speak, and every now and then we do something together. So this is interesting. So she went back to the station, and no, the one is still here. But she managed once to empty it all. Almost done. Then we switch to disintegration. Suck in the little pieces. Yeah. The boxes don't come out. Every time when we are on the seat it doesn't work. And that's basically the reason why she did it. While we just hang around and wait. Yeah, it's weird. We have a full buffer, but it doesn't print. Automatic is off, even if we turn it on. Store and retrieve seems to be the solution for these. Yeah. If you do not do auto printing, it takes a lot of time and effort. I mean, you can wait until no more boxes, but we start to prefer to remove the boxes as soon as possible and bring it into the elevator or offloading to somewhere else. And now we are done here. You see seven SUs of something is remaining in the buffer. That is one SU less than before. But we will be ready for the last few stops. Yeah, these seems to be bigger pieces. Yeah, we are tired. Very, very tired. We just want to finishing off here as fast as possible. Yeah, for this task alone it's really good to have two people. One who utilizes the printer and one who removes the boxes. It will not stop. Unfortunately, sometimes auto print works. Sometimes it doesn't. We can finish off filling up the hopper and then going to the station. Yeah. Before we fall off the chair.